Spring is the season of revolution. Jews the world over have just retold the story of Passover, the liberation from slavery in ancient Egypt, and Christians have celebrated Easter, the death of Jesus and the birth of Christianity. Both these stories are retold in each generation as seminal moments in history, as stories of salvation, and as revolutionary turning points. But both teach a fundamental lesson. Revolutions take decades to mature, and they often fail. It's not hard to find examples. The French Revolution in 1789 was followed by an age of terror and the Napoleonic Wars, and Iran's revolution in 2009 led to even harsher repression by a government that hasn't lost the willingness to shed its own people's blood. This tough prognosis for revolutions is very much on the minds of Egyptians today as they prepare to vote in their first democratic election next month, of Malians as they watch their government overthrown by a coup after 2 decades of peaceful political transitions, and by Syrians battling an autocratic government that is also willing to kill its own people in large numbers. Toppling a dictator is only the first step in creating a more representative, more pluralistic, and more open society. The courageous young people who gathered in Tahrir Square 16 months ago now face a parliament controlled by the Muslim Brotherhood and the Salafist Al-Noor party. Faced by a liberal candidate who split from the Brotherhood, the party broke its long-standing promise and nominated an uncharismatic candidate of its own. Egyptian voters now face a choice among Islamist candidates and aging apparatchiks from the Mubarak era. Hardly the stuff of revolutionary dreams. What does it take for a revolution against the ancien regime to grow into more open, more pluralist societies? First of all, the dictator has to go. In Syria, the al-Assads will not go and have responded with artillery and the killing of thousands. Then the dictator really has to go. The ousted rulers have to give up and not incite loyalist elements in the military with dreams of return. Third, the longer the transition process, the greater the prospect of success. Hasty transitions almost always lead to failure because new parties and new leaders have little time to organize. Finally, remember that when militaries manage the transition, the result is usually a disaster. They manipulate the process, create their own parties, and promote their own favorites. Sadly, after decades of military rule, there is often no other institution capable of organizing a transition. That is very much the story of Egypt today. Spring is a time of hope, but as the author George Aite laments, we struggle to remove one cockroach from power, and the next rat comes to do the same thing. For The Agenda with Steve Paikin, I'm Janice Stein.
Support Ontario's public television. Donate at tvo.org.